Good morning, everybody. Welcome to sort of the new series is going to be post hip replacement, recovery, yoga, craziness. So um, I went to the doctor on Tuesday this week just to re-X-ray that fracture that happened during surgery, and it's doing really well. It's crazy. The implant is like lodged into my femur good. If it had shown any shifting at all, then that would have indicated that the fracture wasn't as stable. So the good news is for right now, and hopefully for the rest of my life, that implant is going to be secure in my femur. It's really crazy though, because I have so much pain. And you hear all the time, oh, the 80-year-old neighbor did it and he just did just fine. And we hear that all the time. And I'm happy that people do really well with this, but not everybody does. And such a great reminder in this is comparison is the thief of joy. It is the thief of joy. If I were to compare myself with all of the other people who have shared their hip replacement journey, or their parents, or their neighbors, or Uncle Joe, I would lose my joy. I would totally lose my joy thinking, what's wrong with me? Why am I not healing? And so my surgeon and I talked at length about this, and there's so many factors that go into somebody's own healing. How many surgeries did they have prior to that? What's going on in their body? Were they sedentary people before surgery and now they're still sedentary people? Were you super active? Do you have autoimmune stuff going on? What's your house set up like? How much support do you have? Like, there's so many factors to recovering from something, anything, but talking about hip replacement, so many factors that go into this. And comparison is so easy to do, but it really can steal from us the small wins that we have in our day to day. So if you think about, we've always heard the grass is always greener, and it's really not, because we may think that this person has whatever going on that we envy, that we wish we had. Maybe it's more abundance, maybe it's better health, maybe it's closer knit family. But the truth is, they have their own stuff too, that they look at you and say, man, I wish I had some of that. And the minute we catch ourselves in comparing ourselves to what other people have, or feeling that the grass is going to be greener on the other side, we're done. We're done finding joy in the moment. And so the small, tiny wins that I have every day, I'm just sitting with that. And I'm also sitting with my pain. And, I'm frustrated by it at times. Honestly, it's hard because I get inundated with information. If I choose to look for it or listen to it, that it's so easy. And it's really not easy. It's not easy for me. And I'm okay with that. Today I'm in a good place with that. I had my first outpatient PT yesterday. She has been my physical therapist, I think, for all of my three previous hip surgeries, my ankle and my knee surgery. And so she knows me, she knows my body, she knows what's going on, she knows my lifestyle, she knows my job, she knows everything about me that she needs to know. And she said too yesterday, had your fracture not occurred, had you not have a laundry list of chronic pain diagnoses, connective tissue stuff, you probably would be walking in here unassisted, maybe using a cane. But that's not your experience. So don't compare yourself to the next patient who had her hip replaced 3 weeks ago and she's fine. Don't compare yourself. It is a thief of joy. So my small joys come in making sourdough bread, planting my garden, writing some blog posts. I'm out here in my studio today. That's a huge win. I was able to just get outside, sit in the sun for a little bit yesterday, got my studio kind of back up and running a little bit. And that's a huge win for me. I'm not going to get on the floor. I'm not going to go for a long walk. I'm not going to drive my car. Maybe some people are at this stage, but that's not me. So my joy is just being out here. After I record a little short yoga session, I want to talk about the spine and how important it is for healing. Then I'm going to grab my weights and I'm going to do some upper body stuff that I haven't done in 2 weeks. So I'm excited. That's a huge win for me to be back in my game lifting weights. I will tell you, I did 1 year of deliberate strength training for my hip. And had I not chosen to do that and be committed to strength training for overall health, but really targeting knowing this hip surgery was coming, I wouldn't be as strong as I am. I know that for sure. So if you don't think you need strength training, you don't think you have time for strength training, let's talk, because that was my belief. That was my story. That was my excuse. And it's so false. And it totally changed my recovery. And even though my recovery is slow and it's hard, changed it for me. So we've talked about this before. The 6 directions of the spine are critical for everyday well-being. The yogis, ancient yogis, knew this thousands and thousands of years ago. All of the postures put together into a class, into a sequence, if perfectly designed or somewhat perfectly designed, are going to give you all 6 directions of the spine to increase vitality, to help our energy, to help everything move in the way that it's supposed to move, to help our internal organs, all of those things, the systems in our body that are working while we don't even realize it. We have to be aware it all originates at the spine. So one of the yoga practices that I've been doing, shared with you my little simple kind of sequence, side body stuff, opening up the thoracic spine, doing some cat and cows. I want to talk specifically today about the 6 directions of the spine and how it's imperative that we do it every single day. Literally takes 5 minutes to move 6 directions of your spine. And so let's think about the spine being sectioned into 3 sections. We have the cervical spine at the top, our thoracic spine that goes from the collarbone to the sternum-ish, and then down from the sternum-ish to our tailbone is our lumbar spine. All 3 sections move in 6 directions. Okay, so we can move them all at once and get every section in the same flexion, extension, twist, or side bend, or we can break it down into all 3 sections. I want to first show you all 3 sections, 6 directions, and then we're going to put it all together into one movement. So let's start with cervical spine. If you have tingling and numbing in your hands and fingers, your cervical spine is going to really benefit from these movements, but always be mindful of any precautions that you know you have or your doctor has said avoid. So if you're not to twist your neck, then don't follow my advice, follow your doctor's advice. If you're healthy and you're good and maybe you have a little crick in your neck, or you tend to get headaches occasionally, this is going to be perfect for you. So shoulders are going to go back and down. So I'm not rounded over. I'm not slumping. Shoulders are back and down. My hands are going to rest on my lap. You don't even need to see my upper body or my lower body today. We're not going to do anything with it. Okay. Maybe I'll adjust my camera a little bit when we get to lumbar, but for now, cervical spine. Okay. First direction, chin's going to drop to the chest, and we feel that beautiful space in the back of the neck. Next direction, we're going to draw a line with our nose up to the ceiling. Let the chin follow up to the ceiling. Feel the throat, the front of the neck, get a nice stretch. On your next in-breath, come on back to neutral. So that's 1 and 2 directions. We have flexion and extension. Okay, let's keep going. Take your chin and rotate it to the right, all the way around. Look behind you. Direction number 3. Come back to neutral. Look over your left shoulder. Direction number 4. Let's put those 4 directions together. Come back to center. Drop your chin to your chest. Direction number 1. Chin to the sky. Direction number 2. Come to neutral. Turn your head to the right. Direction number 3. Turn your head to the left. Direction number 4. Come back to center. Drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Side bend. If you didn't have skin, you'd see this beautiful little C shape here. Come back to neutral. Left ear, left shoulder. Okay. Come back to center. Let's put all 6 of those for this section of our spine into one movement. Take a breath. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, chin to the sky. Exhale to neutral. Take a long breath. Turn to the right, just your chin. Over we go. Inhale back to center. Exhale left. Inhale back to center. Okay. Exhale, right ear, right shoulder. Inhale to center. Exhale, left ear, left shoulder. Inhale to center. Good. Let's think about our thoracic spine. Okay, this one's a little bit harder to move. It's the hardest section of our spine to actually have some mobility, but I've come up with a few tricks to make that happen. Locate your sternum. It's going to be right between your chest. Your breastbone is right there. Think about the wishbone and the turkey right there. Pull it in and take your shoulders forward. Okay, so we are pushing the sternum in. Feels so good. And we're going to reverse that with extension. You're going to take the sternum towards me and squeeze your shoulder blades behind you. Okay, let's try that one again. It's tricky. Locate your sternum, pull it in, push it out. Do it again. It feels so good, especially if you're sedentary. This is good. Now, to get that same rotation in the thoracic spine, it's tough. So I'm going to take my left shoulder and rotate it forward as my right shoulder drifts back. That's it. Come back to center. Right shoulder forward, left shoulder back. My thoracic spine's doing the twist. Do that again. Left to front, right behind. Feel that? And other side. Now, to get that C curve in the thoracic spine, we're just going to lift a shoulder. Okay, there it is. Lift the other shoulder. Now let's put all 6 of those directions of just our thoracic spine into one fluid little sequence. Sternum in. First, take a breath. Exhale, sternum in. Inhale, sternum out. Exhale to neutral. Okay, just straight spine. Take a breath. We're going to take that left shoulder forward. Exhale. Inhale back to center. Exhale, right shoulder. Feel that? Inhale back to center. Drop everything and breathe out. Left shoulder up. Inhale. Exhale, lower it. Inhale, right shoulder. Exhale, lower it. Now, people ask me quite often, especially if you're not super versed in yoga, what's the deal with the breath? Well, the breath links the movement. We call it vinyasa. So you might hear that term. Vinyasa flow means movement with breath. But what really happens, if you notice, is we tend to inhale on extension, exhale as we hunker in. Okay. So as we show up big, we inhale. And then we exhale as we return to ourselves. It's just a beautiful way to think about it. At least that's how I think about it. I'm going to adjust my camera just super slightly. Got to scoot super slow. Okay. So now we're going to be going towards the lumbar spine. This is my surgery hip. So I've got it perfectly in line. One of the precautions is I can't go forward, so I'm going to keep my spine straight. Another precaution is this leg can never cross over here for at least 12 weeks, likely longer for me. Okay, so I have to be very careful that I'm really being mindful of those precautions. So people might think, well, I can't do yoga because I have this. Untrue. Let's think about lumbar spine. So here's there's the rib cage. So here's my belly button about here. So we're going to talk right around there all the way to the tail. So same 6 directions that we did for the rest of our spine, we're going to do for these. It's a little bit tricky. We're going to take the navel, pull it in, and the pelvis tucks under. This is a safe movement for somebody who's just had hip surgery. You can see this hip's a little bit swollen still. It's crazy to me. Now we're going to reverse that. We're going to stick the belly out and take the tail behind you. Now, because I had posterior hip, my incision's right about here. So they had to take all of those muscles I worked so hard for the last year to strengthen. They kind of had to pull them apart. They even remove part of your piriformis, sew it back on, but that's gross. And so when I have my pelvic tilt, I really feel a nice stretch. So that's cool. Tuck it under, come back. Okay. So I like to think of this as a bowl, pouring the bowl, filling the bowl. Now, for somebody who has just had hip surgery, this is a fantastic movement to get some of that blood and energy flowing again in the pelvis. When we have hip surgery, we're pretty immobilized, right? Do two more. If we sit a lot at a desk job, if we sit around watching TV all day, we're pretty immobilized. So we don't have a lot of movement here, which can be a direct link to lack of creativity, lack of connection with other people, lack of just that energy of goodness, sensuality, and liveliness and joy. If we're locked here, we're not going to have a lot of that kind of good feeling of creativity and relationship stuff. And it's all sacral stuff. So there's that same movement that we did with our sternum, that we did with our chin. We're coming down to the lumbar. So let's think about rotating to the right only from here. So how I'm going to do it is I'm going to take my left knee, and I'm going to push it forward as I slightly pull my right cheek back. Okay, so there I have a slight twist in the lumbar spine. Now I'm going to come back to neutral, and I'm going to push my right knee forward and pull my left hip back. That kind of hurts a little bit. So that's just telling me for right now, may not be the best movement. Let's try it one more time. Left knee goes forward, little tiny twist, right knee goes forward. Okay, so that's a little bit tender for me. Now, to get the side bend that we can get through our thoracic spine and through our cervical spine, we're going to lift up the left cheek. Woo, feel that? Maybe you don't, but I do. Lift up your right cheek. Okay, so now we're getting that side bend through the lumbar spine, way, 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 way down there. There's all six directions, lumbar spine. Obviously, the cervical spine is probably the easiest to move. Then the thoracic spine can be a little bit tricky, but if you do this enough, you can find a lot of energy and movement through your middle back. And then lumbar spine can be just smaller, okay? But we're still getting those movements in. All right, so there's all six directions, three sections of our spine. We're going to put it all together, add a little bit of arms just to make it more fun. And it's just good. It's just good. So sit really tall. Remember, last video, I'm really connecting with myself through that healing process. You don't have to be healing to connect with yourself. It's something you should do every day. Feel your aliveness. Feel the aliveness of who you are. The goodness of being alive. Your heart is beating. Your breath is flowing. I have sun coming in, little specks of snow while it's sunny. It's Colorado. It's crazy, but I'm alive. I'm good. I'm talking to my cells. I'm talking to my body. I'm really trying to cultivate that healing. Take a breath and breathe out. Now we're going to start with our cervical spine. Rest your hands on your legs. Drop your chin to your chest and exhale. We're going to continue staying with that flexion. Pull your sternum in, allow your shoulders to creep forward, and tuck your pelvis under. Okay, so we've scooped out that bowl. Now we're going to take all of three sections of the spine into the second direction. So that means the chin's going to draw a line to the ceiling. Sternum is going to squeeze forward, and the tailbone is going to go behind you as you rock your pelvis forward. Let's try that again. Chin to chest, sternum in, tailbone under. Chin to the sky, sternum up, and tailbone back. One more time. Chin down, sternum in, tail under. Chin up, sternum forward, tail back. Let's twist, okay? We're going to make it a little bit bigger. I'm going to hook my hands together. I'm going to take a breath in. On my exhale, I'm going to turn everything to the right, letting my left knee go forward. I get a nice stretch. Come back to center, and I'm going to push my right knee forward, let my heart go to the left, elbow to the left. One more time each side. Okay, so pull all around, let your chin go around to the right, sternum to the right, left knee forward. Come back, spin to the left, eyes to the left, heart to the left, right knee forward. Come back to center. Beautiful. Lower your arms. Take your right arm up to the sky. We're going to take that side bend. Left ear, left shoulder. Okay. Thoracic spine is bending because my right shoulder is higher than my left. My right hip is lifting. Cheek is barely touching. Come back and switch sides. Left arm to the sky. Right ear, right shoulder falls, left hip lifts, side bend, full spine. Come on back to center. We're going to put all of that together. So less kind of cueing, just kind of listen to your body, follow along. I'll give you a little bit of time to acclimate. We'll do it one time through with some guidance, and then I'll just kind of ease back on the cueing so that you can kind of feel this, because ideally you're going to wake up tomorrow morning and you're going to move your spine in all 6 directions without me. It's going to become part of what you do while you're brushing your teeth. And that can be done. Grab your toothbrush, sling it on over. Like, it can be done. It should be done. All right, shoulders back and down. Sit really, really tall. My hands are on my thighs because I like to slide them forward and back when I'm really focusing on that thoracic movement, because that's the hardest one. Take a big breath. On your exhale, chin down, sternum in, tailbone under. On your inhale, chin goes up, heart goes forward, tail goes back. Exhale, neutral. Hook your hands into a circle. Take a breath in. On your exhale, spin to the right. Take everything that direction. Left knee goes forward. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, everything to the left. Right knee goes forward. Come back to center. Keep your hands hooked. Let's try it a different way. Inhale, up to the sky. We're going to take right ear, right shoulder. Left cheek lifts. Inhale, back to the sky. Over we go to the left. Okay, little modification here. Up to the sky. Exhale, lower it. Hands slide back to your thighs. Take a big breath. One more time. Exhale, chin to chest. Sternum in, tailbone under. Inhale, chin to the sky. Heart lifts, goes back. Exhale, back to neutral. Circle your hands. Take a breath. Exhale to the right. Spin around. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, left. Inhale to center. Ready for this? Up we go. Exhale over. Inhale up. Exhale back. Inhale up. Hands return. Now I want to show you a way that you can do this without unhooking your hands. It just gives a different feel. You can weave your hands into a basket. I kind of have a little modified basket. Okay, so my arms are holding that giant beach ball. Ready? It's so good. It's so good. You should start to feel a lot of energy happening when you do this, because you're taking all that spinal fluid and energy that's just been sort of dormant. As if you sit a lot, if you don't move a lot, get it going. All right. Keep your arms in front. Take a breath. Exhale, chin to chest, sternum in, tailbone under. Reach your hands forward. Get a huge stretch for the thoracic spine. Now, inhale, back to neutral. We're going to take this one slow. Flip your basket inside out, okay? Push the basket forward. On your next inhale, lift your chin up, sternum up, tailbone back. Push your hands to me. Should be a nice stretch. Return to neutral. Hands can stay extended, which I prefer. Spin to the right. Feel that. Now I'm getting a huge stretch through my tricep. Come back to center. Turn to the left. Come back to center. Hands can stay inside out. Up we go. Hinge to the right. Back to center. Hinge to the left. Back to center. Lower your arms. Unslip your basket and return your hands to your lap. So play with your hand placement. Don't have to be hooked together at all. They can be hooked together at the hand or the wrist, or they can be woven like a basket. Flipping inside out gives a lot of stretch for the arms, for the forearms, the inner wrist. You can really play with that. So when people say, how are you doing yoga with a hip replacement? That's how I'm doing yoga. I already feel that vibrancy of just moving my spine. Maybe 6 times we did that. So I would recommend every day 3 rounds. So all 3 sections, 3 times through. So flexion, extension, rotation, rotation, bendy, bendy. Easy peasy. You can do it. So next time I pop on, will be in a couple days. I want to show you some standing work that I'm doing. Even though I'm still on crutches for another 4 to 6 weeks, I can have 50% weight on my operated leg. So I'm using crutches, but I'm doing some pretty cool movements, a little Pilates-ish. So don't be afraid of that word. It's good. And remember that comparison is the thief of joy. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Don't compare your life to anybody else's. If we look over the fence and we say, wow, that person's grass is so much greener. They have this, they get to stay at home. They don't have to work. They have more money. They have a new car. Their kids come to visit all the time. They don't have pain. We're losing joy in what we have. We are sort of setting aside our wins and our things that make us unique and special. And I guarantee you, you have what somebody else wants. You have that. So people might say to me, you have such a great attitude. I do have a great attitude. I work hard at having a great attitude, but there's things that you have that I'm trying to bring more into my life. It doesn't mean I want your life and my life sucks. It just means, oh, that's pretty cool. And I'd like to have a little bit more of that in my life, a little bit more of that peace of mind or presence. So you work towards it, but don't compare yourself to anybody because you will lose your joy. And we don't want to lose our joy. Each of us has a lot of joy if we look for it. Okay. Thanks for hanging out with me. 6 directions of your spine, all 3 sections. Do it every single day and you will thank me. You will thank me. Have a great day.